The practice of unpredictably changing one's language, dialect, or speaking style to better fit one's environment. So, in order to give you a real time example, let me implement the code switching in this session itself. जैसे कि क्या करते हैं हम, in order to get into the psyche of the viewers, we try to, or basically I try to, the YouTubers try to switch between the bilingual environment. जैसे कि हम लोग कभी कभी हिंदी में बात कर लेते हैं कुछ वर्ड्स को प्रॉपरली बताने के लिए, क्योंकि उसका इंग्लिश ऑल्टरनेटिव इमीडिएटली बोला नहीं जा सकता या उनको पता नहीं होता है, और immediately after a few seconds you will see that the person is switching to the other language. So this is a very good example of code switching that I am doing here. So let us go to the other points and understand code switching better. It is also a universal language contact phenomenon that reflects the grammars of both language working simultaneously. So those who have watched my previous video, they know that in case of code mixing, the grammar does not play a significant role, but in case of code switching, it is exactly the opposite, where both the languages grammar play a significant role simultaneously. All right. So code switching is possible in bilingual or multilingual environment, but not in monolingual. So this is a point which is similar to code mixing as well. Code switching can only be done in bilingual or multilingual environment. So code switching occurs when a speaker alternates between two or more languages or languages varieties in the context of simple conversation. So again बहुत ज़्यादा similar है, like previously हम लोगों ने जब code mixing को समझा था, जैसे कि हम लोग जब लैंग्वेज को स्विच करते हैं तो क्या करते हैं, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आपको ये याद रखना है कि इट हैपन्स इन बाइलिंगुअल एनवायरनमेंट और मल्टीलिंगुअल एनवायरनमेंट. मोनोलिंगुअल एनवायरनमेंट में कभी नहीं हो सकता. मैं पूरा सेशन अगर इंग्लिश में ही ले लूँ और बताऊँ कि यही एग्जाम्पल है कोड स्विचिंग का, देन ऑब्वियसली आई एम टोटली रॉन्ग. आई हैव टू एटलीस्ट फॉर मिनिमम आई हैव टू स्विच बिटवीन टू लैंग्वेजेस इन ऑर्डर टू से दैट कि मैंने कोड स्विचिंग का सेशन लिया है. ठीक है, वो बात आपको समझना है. और सेकंड ये भी समझना है कि केस ऑफ कोड स्विचिंग ग्रामर भी बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. Or following that, we have to understand that both the languages that we are using plays a significant role. Okay, the grammar plays significant role. So multilingual speakers of more than one language sometimes use elements of multiple languages when conversing with each other. Also, style, register and voice, whether in spoken or written language, can then be included in a broad definition of code switching. So coming to the second portion of the session, that is reasons for code switching. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. यहाँ मैंने ऐसा कोई भी रीज़न नहीं डाला है जिसको देख के आप बहुत कंफ्यूज हो जाओ. तो पहला रीज़न है कि no similar words in English. So sometimes you will observe that few speakers while conversing in a informal environment, what happens is like they miss a particular word in English. So that type of situation, code switching really helps. Then did not know the English word, to fill the gap in speaking, easier to speaker in own language, to avoid misunderstanding, to convey intimacy so others would not understand, privacy. Okay, very important. Code switching is also done in order to have some private conversations, to add emphasis, and it might be other reasons as well. So up next is the different types of code switching, which are intrasentential switching, intersentential switching and text switching. So let us start with the intrasentential switching. It is possibly the most complex among the three, as it can occur within the boundaries of a clause or sentence. So I know that a definition might look a little bit complicated, but we'll try to understand with it a example of other than English and Hindi that I have been doing in the previous two sessions. So let us use a different language to understand this intrasentential switching and how it is done. So see, let's see the example here. Example, move der Blastiv to the pencil case on the desk. So here the word der Blastiv is basically German. So forgive me if my pronunciation is wrong. You can obviously go to the Google and see how it is pronounced if you're interested. But for the sake of the session, we'll just try to understand the meaning here. So in case of intrasentential switching, what we can see is that basically the switching has been done within the boundaries of a clause or sentence. All right. So the entire sentence, if you see, if I just say it in English, move the pencil to the pencil case on the desk, but the words the pencil has been said in German, that is der Blastiv. Okay. So the second type is intersentential switching. It happens between the sentence boundaries where one clause or sentence is in one language and the next clause or sentence is in other. Intersentential code switching takes place within the same sentence or between speaker turns. It entails fluency in both languages, such that a speaker is able to follow the rules of the two language. So let us try to understand with a good example other than English and Hindi. Of course, we'll try to understand this with a different language here, English and Spanish. So let us see the example here. Move the pencil to the blue pencil case on the table. Lo has hecho. So what do you mean by the last three words that I've said? The last three words say understands in English is did you do it? So if I read the all sentence, if I read the complete sentence here, move the pencil to the blue pencil case on the table. So that is one sentence, and after full stop, did you do it? But rather than saying it in English, I'm saying it in Spanish. Lo has hecho. Okay. So the final type is the tag switching, which is the switching of either a tag phrase or a word or both from one language to another. So please, it's my humble request that don't confuse it with the code mixing that I've explained to you in the previous session, because it looks very much similar, whereas it's totally different. Because in case of tag switching, what we are doing is basically we are replacing a particular tag phrase or a word or both. All right, so let us understand with your example again. I saved the game. I saw the game last night and it was chingon. Now chingon is basically, it's a Spanish word, and it is actually it's a very popular Spanish tag phrase. All right, so chingon is basically something which is awesome, someone, or something cool or very good. Now don't confuse it with awesome. This is not the awesome replacement of this in Spanish. Basically awesome is called something else in Spanish. It's a tag phrase. All right, as I've said, chingon is basically a tag phrase which means it's something which is awesome, someone, or something which is very cool or very good.